Post-match chat is live. What an extraordinary day in the PSL. History made today. We finally saw a team lose the toss and successfully defend a total for the very first time. Quetta just defeated Multan Sultans. Extraordinary match. We're going to break that down. But also earlier today, the Karachi Kings chased down in very, very exciting fashion a score against the Peshawar Zalmi, a 190 plus score as well. Quite something. Very exciting times. A lot to talk about today. As always, I'm joined by my friends Anam Nadeem, Armaan Kirmani, and today, a very, very special guest, star of television, stage and screen, Mr. Abdullah Afzal. How are you, Abdullah? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. I'm very good, man. I'm really enjoying the PSL. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure, bro. I'm so glad you made the effort with the hats and the jumper and his cable knit as well. It's nearly a cricket jumper.
I'm just hiding that mess. That's all.
Yeah, I hate it when people do that, when they've got big immaculate hair and they're just like, oh, I'm just hiding my messy hair. Listen, we're going to talk to you more about the game. Very exciting stuff today. We've got a lot to break down because there were two matches. So before we get into the breakdown of the games, let's get into the moments. Anam Nadeem, what was your moment of the day?
Quetta toss जीता नहीं, हारा और मैच जीत गया. इससे बड़ा मोमेंट और क्या हो सकता है? And being a Quetta fan, prediction भी सही हो गई है. So this is a huge thing for me कि जी jinx खत्म हो गया है. Quetta ने finally कुछ अच्छा कर लिया है. And apart from this, there were two other moments. In the first game, Ahmad Butt की clean hitting. बहुत जबरदस्त किस्म के उसने आज चौके छक्के मारे हैं. He hit 32 runs in that last over. Although Zalmi didn't go on to win the match, लेकिन वो ओवर बहुत फिट था. Hitting बहुत जबरदस्त थी. और शेड्स ऑफ अब्दुल रजाक वाले ट्वीट्स आना शुरू हो गए थे टाइमलाइन पे कि इसमें है कुछ चक्कर वही रजाक वाला. एंड सेकंड मोमेंट ऑफ द डे इज फ्रॉम द अदर मैच. उसमें जब इमरान ताहिर ने विकेट लेके सेलिब्रेट किया एंड ही गेव अ ट्रिब्यूट टू हिज मेंटोर फ्रेंड Tahir Moghal, who just passed away not so long ago. He was battling with cancer. That was a really emotional moment, and hats off to Imran Tahir for doing it.
Yes, absolutely. Hats off to Imran Tahir. What a first game he had as well in the PSL. Great game. And Ahmad Butt ki hitting ke bare mein bilkul baat karenge. That was brilliant, and that's going to be a talking point today. And of course, we're going to talk about Quetta. Armaan, tell me, what was your moment of the day today?
भाई अब मैं कौन सा मोमेंट पिक करूं? हमने सब मोमेंट ही आपको बता दिए. लेकिन you know what, the one I'm going to go for is the captaincy by Sarfaraz in that second innings today. World class. What a victory for Quetta. He kept the spinners on in the face of pressure and adversity, led the team after all the criticism he's faced. I like a comeback. I'm going with Sarfaraz.
That was a good moment. Absolutely. You know, he was noticeably calmer as well today. And, you know, I could hear him say things like, shabash, ye wali, shabash, ye wali. I heard a lot more shabash from Sarfaraz today, which is always encouraging. Abdullah Afzal, our special guest today. What was your favorite moment of the day?
Well, since everyone started off speaking Urdu, I might as well try as well. Mera naam Abdullah hai. Right. You know what? My favorite moment is something that no one else would have picked, because it's quite beautiful, because there's a young kid that's playing for Quetta. He's been opening for them and he's not been doing very well. In fact, he's been having a horrid time. Saim Ayub. He played one beautiful square drive, and I just thought, that's the shot. That's going to get him going. That's where he started. And he had a decent innings. I feel bad for him because I don't think he's ready for T20 cricket at the moment. I think he should be playing 5-day cricket, to be honest with you, or even 1-day cricket. I don't think he's been thrown right into the
deep end.
The deep end there. But they're stuck with him, so you got to give him credit for that. But you know, every other team has got an opener that's just been taking it to teams that, whether it's Babar, Rizwan, even Sharjeel, players like that, and then suddenly Quetta, they seem to be lacking something. And today, with the other debutant as well, Usman Khan as well, I thought Saim did really well. I was just happy for him, man. He looks like a little baby. I want to pick him up. You know what I mean?
He does have that little childlike quality. But you're absolutely right. You know, I kind of agree with you on all of that. It was really nice to see him flourish, have that moment where he cut loose. There was that 6 over the covers, as you say. Yeah. He has been having a tough time of it, and you do wonder if in the long term it's the right move for Quetta, without any prejudice to Saim Ayub. My moment of the day was, without a shadow of a doubt, Usman Khan. Just his flourishing from out of nowhere. Like, I looked at the opening and I was kind of worried. Like, you have already got Saim Ayub, and he's been under pressure and he's struggling, and now you've got this new guy who's playing T20. I looked him up on Cricinfo. Can't find anything. He's played 2 first-class games. Apparently, he's still at Karachi University studying. Like, nobody's heard of him before. Nobody knows anything about him. And he just smashes an 80 from out of nowhere in complete control, composed, aggressive, organized his innings, played all 360 degrees around the wicket. Just, it's hard, like, as Pakistani fans, it's hard not to get excited about a talent like that. You immediately think, like, oh, you know, this guy, can he be in the Pakistan team? Can he be? You try not to get ahead of yourself, but it was a really exciting performance. To Usman Khan, that's my player to watch, and his performance was my moment of the day. But let's go back to the start of the day. Okay, now Anam, Peshawar didn't start particularly well. You know, Karachi were bowling very tight, but it was like a rescue act from Ravi Bopara, British Ravi Bopara from East London, and he with Shafane Rutherford, they put together this partnership, and they really gave Peshawar something to work with.
Absolutely. एक point पे तो ऐसे लग रहा था कि Karachi Kings Peshawar को जल्दी out कर लेगा, but then they also somehow lost control of the later end of the innings. Ravi Bopara, anchorman, perfect innings, the sort of innings you need from a senior pro. Shoaib Malik se expected था, captain भी था आज, and I was really hoping कि Shoaib आज चल जाएगा, but नहीं चल सका. And then Ravi Bopara took the onus on himself and scored a really lovely 50. Shane Rutherford supported him really well. Shane Rutherford की जो hitting power है और जो उसकी range है वो बहुत fit है. मतलब वो जब clean, उसकी भी इतनी clean striking है, वो आपकी आंखों पे it's so pleasing to see कि वो किस तरह की हिटें मारता है. But I think Karachi Kings ने कहीं ना कहीं they did lose the plot. और पहले मैच बहुत बोरिंग जा रहा था, and you thought कि यार ये क्या हो रहा है, बहुत एक one sided मैच होगा, but उन दोनों की पार्टनरशिप ने वापस जान भर दी, and at the depth वो एक over changed the whole thing around. Ahmad Butt का.
Yeah, Armaan, talk to me about Ahmad Butt, bro. That was stunning, and we spent ages just debating and arguing about who the best number 4s, number 5s for Pakistan are going to be. Ahmad Butt threw his hat right into that race.
100%. Aj, like you said, Usman threw his hat potentially as an opener. Obviously, the thing is we shouldn't get carried away. We need to be patient, especially with our young players. Like in that number 6 position, which is the one that I've been talking about on this show, Abhi wahan pe pressure. Could it be Haider Ali? Could it be Asif Ali? And could it be Ahmad Butt? What I'm loving at the moment is seeing their strike rates. And definitely, I think, the international players have helped our domestic players. If you see the sort of Rutherford, or if you see even Nabi, like their striking has definitely helped their teams. And now we're getting to see new Pakistani talent. And that's what the PSL is there for. So, success all around.
Yeah, absolutely. They were great. They were very, very, I mean, they built a strong total. And, then the question started happening. Like, it's not going to be a straightforward chase. And I think still the win predictor was in favor of Karachi. But, you can go either which way. And then first ball, Sharjeel gone. Like, Sharjeel has been lighting up this PSL, the only man to score 100. Abdullah, what did you make of that? Did you think an upset could happen then?
Do you know what's really interesting? During the last World Cup, I was speaking to Inzamam, right? And I said to Inzamam, I really like Fakhar Zaman. I really, he's really impressing me, etc. He's, not got form at the moment, and he said to me, "Oh, soon as Sharjeel's back, he'll replace him." He said that to me, and I didn't really get it at the time. He goes, "Yeah, soon." And this was when he was chief selector, right? Or I think so. I think he was. Anyway, and I just thought, really, because I couldn't really. I remember him being okay, but they hold him in really high regard, and I've been loving him in this thingy so far. And the thing is, one thing that all the teams, not just Karachi Kings, but all the teams have done that the Pakistan international team hasn't been able to do lately is they've got real balance in their team. It's like when the openers hit it off, it's amazing. It's amazing. They have a quick start. But when they fail, like they did today, many occasions, Kamran Akmal as well, Sharjeel, this middle order comes out of nowhere and just plays a blinder like Bopara did today. And there's a lot of mix between ages as well, like with Bopara being quite the veteran when it comes to T20 cricket. And then you got Rutherford, who's 22 years old. I just thought it was fantastic. When Sharjeel got out, I got a bit annoyed because for me, I don't know about you guys. You guys have got a team you support. I haven't. I just support all the Pakistani players. So for me, Sharjeel was one of the ones I wanted to watch today. So I was like, oh, God. Do you know what I mean? One day I'm on the podcast, it's going to be 12 all out or something. But But then we've got King Babar, don't we? I mean, what a player!
You
In my lifetime, I'm confident in saying that he already at this age, for me, is the best batsman for Pakistan that I've seen play in terms of consistency, in terms of all formats of the game, in terms of personality. Like, he's got such an amazing personality as well. He's down to earth. He's grounded. I remember, right, when I was a kid, Shoaib Akhtar, right, bowling an amazing spell, right?
Yeah.
And after the game, the commentator, I think it was Ramiz Raja or someone, and said, Shoaib Akhtar, what would you say is your best feature? And do you know what he said? I think so, my eyes. You see the difference between him and Babar? Babar, if he stays the way he is, he's going to be. I already think he's one of the best batsmen in the world. Obviously, he won the best number threes, but he's opening in a lot of formats as well.
Yeah.
But I think we have got someone in our hands that's going to be as important to Pakistan cricket as Imran Khan was back in the day.
Wow. I think a lot of people will agree with you. He said in his lifetime he's never seen a better batsman. I should point out Abdullah is only 17 years old. So he doesn't remember great players like, Imran Farhad or Yasir Hamid or any of these.
Faisal Iqbal.
Man, Islamabad legend, Faisal Iqbal. Listen, Anam, so that wicket fell. Sharjeel, with all that hype, he fell. Babar, as Abdullah was saying, beautiful performance. But I felt like he kind of organized his innings quite nicely. He almost built it around Muhammad Nabi, because Nabi was really finding the middle of the bat and finding the distance at will almost. Like, it was really him who kind of pulverized the Peshawar attack. What do you think?
There are no doubts about it. नबी एक stabilizing factor है कराची के लिए. I think पता नहीं अल्लाह ने उनको कहाँ से वो दे दिया कि नबी रख लो टीम में और जब जरूरत पड़ेगी नबी is going to perform. And I think he was brilliant with his hitting. जिस तरह से वो कर रहा था. Mind you, he was dropped at 24. And I think that was another changing point in this match when Nabi was dropped at 24 by Ahmad. एक confidence वाली चीज भी shatter थोड़ी सी हुई अहमद की. फिर उमेद आसिफ और अमाद ने जब अपने स्पेल्स पूरे किए हैं, बहुत फेंटी खाई है, बहुत ज्यादा. मतलब ठीक ठाक रज के उनको मार पड़ी है दोनों को. जो स्कोर अमाद ने 32 रन बनाए थे उस ओवर में, उसने 54 या 56 रन दे भी दिए. सो आई थिंक जहां पे मुझे लग रहा था कि पेशावर ज़ल्मी अपने जो इनिशियल प्लान्स थे बहुत अच्छे से उन्होंने एग्जीक्यूट किए लेटर एंड पे. And they missed a trick by not playing a spinner. They didn't have any spinner in their lineup today apart from Malik. So that was another thing that they missed on, तो मुझे नहीं पता क्यों नहीं खिलाया कोई स्पिनर उन्होंने आज. इरफान को भी खिलाया हुआ है. हाँ.
It was very unusual, Anam, because एक वक्त पे the commentators from out of nowhere, I think it was towards the death of the game, they brought it up. They were like, why Shoaib Malik hasn't bowled much? Why doesn't he get a bowl? And you're like, because it's the last 2 overs of the game. Obviously, he's not going to bowl. They're defending like 19 runs. Anyway, in the end, Karachi crossed the line. Dan Christian and Babar Azam got them there in the end. Big win for Karachi. Must have settled a little bit of the Karachi contingent, Armaan.
Huge. I mean, the result for me. I mean, I got my predictions right yesterday. The result is never in doubt when Karachi is playing. From my point, वो हाथ से हो जाते हैं मैच में. उसका तो हम क्या करें. आज लंदन की फील्ड में अगर आप देख रहे थे तो उसमें पाया और निहारी के बीच हार आ रहे थे. तो I was relaxed सुबह से कि यार आज तो कराची को जीतना ही है. वो जो 32 रन आखिर में पड़े वो थोड़ा सा मैच उन्होंने एक्साइटिंग कर दिया, लेकिन वो बेसिकली 150 का मैच था. Karachi bowled really well. Let's not forget about that. To restrict Peshawar, they took the early wickets and they made the relevant breakthroughs. And then once you've got Babar there, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? If Babar bats 20 overs, we're chasing 300. It's not a problem. Do you know what I mean? So we've got Babar. So Karachi hai, man.
Absolutely. Karachi, like, back in that the top half of that table, looking very good and looking very balanced. And we'll maybe talk about their hopes a little bit more. Let's move on to the second game. So Karachi win that game. Beautiful effort. In the end, they got there. It was a seesaw match as well, so it was very exciting to watch from a neutral perspective. Then we've got Quetta versus Multan. I think even hardcore Multan fans. I was looking at Ali Tareen's Twitter feed, and he's formerly an owner of the Multan Sultans, obsessed with Multan cricket. And even he was like, I really feel for Quetta. I really want them to get a win. They're a great side, great pedigree. Everybody wanted Quetta to win, but when they started playing, Abdullah, it didn't initially look great. The way that they started, I mean, they got that power play going eventually, but initially So I beg your pardon. Let me rephrase that. They had to restructure their innings. They were looking like they might go big with the two openers. Usman Khan looking fantastic. Saim Ayub got some runs quickly and then got out. He only took, I think, 18 balls for his 23. And then Faf du Plessis went. And then Azam Khan went. And then Sarfraz went without really contributing. There was that quick fall of wickets. They ended up with 176. Tell me you thought that was going to get chased down comfortably, Abdullah.
Well, obviously we thought it would because it had done beforehand. Every game that the Chasers always won, especially when the scores were big, they would chase it down quite easily. Do you know what? Surprise is a funny one for me. It's such a funny one because I feel like he's a player that needs to get his eye in, right? Although sometimes he comes in and just hits it out from nowhere. But I feel like, I don't know what it is, right? I love Surprise. But when he came in, I felt like he wasn't going to be around. I just had the feeling that he wasn't going to be around for the first ball he faced. And, you know, it was awful way to get out. Same with Du Plessis. I can't say his name. But he tried that the last game as well. He kept trying to do these scoopy shots and reverse shots. He's such a clean hitter of the ball. I just wanted him to stand there and hit it. These ridiculous shots. The openers, when they started off, I thought, this was, at the start, I was thinking, Quetta need to bring some openers in because every team have got the balance right of their openers. You got Rizwan who can stay in and anchor the innings while the other players hit out. You've got Kamran Akmal who can hit out while the other players stay with it. Imam ul Haq can stay with him. Babar Azam with Sharjeel. And then I felt like with Quetta, it was almost like nothing, because I didn't know one of them, first of all. And every time I saw him, I felt like he was too young for this. He just didn't look ready for it, in my opinion. And they started off very slow, and I thought this is going to be a low-scoring game. They're going to get out soon. And then, like I said, with that square drive that he played, he got his confidence. And then Usman just got his eye in. And some of the shots he played, man, you're right. It's very hard for us not to get excited because, you know, one of the main interests for me in the PSL is I get to see these players that have been playing domestically in Pakistan come through, and I can watch them in England, which is something I've not done before. That's why I have to give props to Sky Sports as well, because the coverage before this year's PSL hasn't been great. And it's kind of hard to follow, but on Sky Sports, it's been fantastic. It's been like watching, you know, any World Cup championship.
I wonder if you've got a deal with Sky coming up.
Hopefully in the future. But you know what? I was really impressed with them, and I'm glad now that Quetta won, right? And the reason why is because I feel like teams were going in when they lose the toss, they thought they'd already lost the game, and I don't want that kind of mentality in this year's PSL. Now that they've done it, people think, you know what, it can be, we can win if we bat first.
It opens it up.
Opens it up a bit, and I'm glad that's happened.
Absolutely. But this is the thing, though. At a halfway stage, I'm going to be really honest. I thought that Multan would chase it down, and I thought they would chase it down without any major issues. 176, we've seen bigger scores than that, chased down much more comfortably. We've seen Dew become a factor in the second game of the day. And then, in my mind, I had that vision of Hasnain. Now, he bowled beautifully, and we're talking about how quick he bowled. It's only a day ago that he was letting those ones slip from his hand and the wides were happening. And by the way, they did happen again today. He just had a bit more ammunition to work with. Anam, halfway point, you couldn't have thought that Quetta were going to win, surely.
Yeah, I मतलब कोई scene नहीं था कि जीतना या नहीं जीतना, but I do feel Multan missed out on not playing Chris Lynn today. I don't know why did they drop him. They should have gone with him. क्योंकि ठीक है वो, लेकिन जब वो चलता है तो वो चलता है. He's very destructive. और power play के अंदर I think Multan were 56 for 0. They didn't lose a wicket in the power play, and they did seem on course to go on to win the game. Lekin then again, 56 is par in power play, right? It's not destructive. हाँ, अगर कोई 80-90 बना लिए होते power play में, मतलब ज़्यादा, and for that they needed Chris Lynn. They were missing out. And then people were also saying Lala नहीं है आज टीम में, तो लाला को भी miss out किया है इन लोगों ने. लाला नहीं था तो भाई किसने छक्के मारने थे इन पे आके तो.
लेकिन चलो लाला नहीं था, लेकिन वो इमरान ताहिर था, Armaan, like he was brilliant. People keep talking about his age and maybe his value being off the field rather than on, but he was spectacular, and like just those celebrations, he's up for it.
Yeah, sub spinners. I mean, Imran Tahir was superb, but I can't talk about him without talking about what we saw that bowler Kes do, the Afghani bowler. Like Kes Ahmed, he was superb, and Zahid Mahmood took wickets as well. So and captaincy played a huge part. I mean, Anam just told you. I mean, What were they chasing? 170, and they were 9-over after the power play without losing any wickets. I mean, it should be a walk in the park from that position for any team chasing after 6 overs. You made 56 or whatever it is, not roughly 9-over, all 10 wickets in hand. So how did Quetta, as our guest yesterday predicted, that this scenario would happen and they would be the ones that would be defending and then they would lose and all of that, And I said to you yesterday, like, they've got a lot of young players. And I've always said that, Sarfaraz, yeah, you might not like the way he's captaining, but he is a very effective captain. And the beauty about sport in general is that you're going to get different personalities leading different teams. And so for me, I know that you asked Anam, was the result, or you must have had no doubt. I was very confident all the way through that, listen, the cricket is a very simple game. It's bowlers versus batsmen. Forget this thing about wickets and Karachi curse and koi nahi jita, bhai aap complicate mat karo. If your bowlers can stop the batsmen from scoring, you will win the game. And today, those spinners put on a show and a masterclass, and the captaincy was masterclass, because even the commentators were like, yeah, I think you said yourself as well, he's going to have to bring the seamers on. But he kept the spinners going, and he was rewarded. Zahid Mahmood took wickets in the 18th over. Kes took wickets all the way through. Superb stuff from Quetta.
Well, yeah, what we saw was like the pressure building, and Multan kind of wilted. Mohammad Rizwan tried to hold the fort for a long time. He got 66 off 50, but eventually even he had to hit the asking rate going above 15, and the spinners were bowling with confidence. I really do think it all turned with that Ghais Ahmed spell, but we've talked about the bowlers. I want to get into the selection of the Multan Sultans team as well a little bit, because they made a lot of changes today, and I'm not convinced that they were the right move. We saw Shan Masood come back in. He got 1 from 4. We saw James Vince and Mohammad Rizwan open together, which I understand. You got 2 top batsmen, but think about what's below you. Riley Rousseau hasn't really had a knock in the middle so far. Maybe no confidence there. Hushtil hasn't had a big innings. He got 19 off 12 today, but he hasn't demonstrated the ability to hold together the middle order. Sohaib Maqsood got 2 off 4, again, wilting under pressure. And then you get down to Sohail Khan, Imran Tahir, and Imran Khan. Like, these guys are great. And by the way, we didn't mention Shahnawaz Dani, who had another great game with the ball. Fantastic. But I just really feel like Multan kind of messed up the rhythm of their middle order there. What do you think, Anam?
Yeah, they did. And Rizwan even mentioned this post-match के partnerships नहीं build कर सके जहाँ पे ज़रूरत थी. 1-2 पार्टनरशिप भी लग जाती एंड वाले लोगों के लिए थोड़ा सा आसान हो जाता. जैसे सोहेल खान ने आते ही छक्का लगाया था, तो लग रहा था. एंड इवन आई वाज कन्विंस्ड कि स्टेन का एक ओवर रहता है, और अभी भी कुछ भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि स्टेन डेथ ओवर्स में उसका जो रिकॉर्ड रहा है रिसेंटली बहुत बुरा रहा है. तो मेरा तो अंदर ऐसे था कि नहीं, सीन नहीं है कुछ भी. बट या, आई थिंक मुल्तान हैव मिस्ड आउट ऑन अ ट्रिक कि उनके बैट्समैन चल नहीं रहे हैं, स्पेशली खुशदिल. एंड खुशदिल से बहुत उम्मीदें थी डोमेस्टिक में, जिस तरह से उसने परफॉर्म किया, वो ट्रांसलेशन नहीं आ पाई है ना इंटरनेशनल सीन पे, और ना ही अभी टीम के लिए आ पा रही है. तो आई थिंक मुल्तान के लिए भी बहुत जरूरी है कि उनके ये वाले बैट्समैन जो लोकल बैट्समैन है वो चलना शुरू करें. एंड स्पेशली रूसो एज वेल, बिकॉज लास्ट सीजन रूसो वाज इन टॉप नॉच फॉर्म, एंड रूसो वाज स्कोरिंग अ लॉट ऑफ रन्स, and he was making sure कि top order जो है वो strike कर रहा है और ऊपर से ही match खत्म हो रहा है. So I think they're missing out on all of these factors. And another thing I need to mention, Zahid की वो जो hat trick थी, Ben Cutting ने उसका catch छोड़ा, और वो बहुत ही एक heart breaking moment था, तो वो hat trick होनी चाहिए थी.
Absolutely. The look on Zahid Mahmood's face when Cutting put the catch down, like when that ball went up in the air, he thought he was already celebrating it. The birthday cake was already in his mind. He was visualizing the tweet that he was going to write, everything. And then Cutting put down an absolute sitter. It was devastating. Go on, Armaan.
This has happened to him twice. When he played the last T20 for Pakistan and South Africa, udhar bhi review pe iski hat trick miss hui.
Yeah, he must think like it was out of his reach. But I think one of these days we're going to see a Zahid Mahmood hat-trick. He is absolutely brilliant, and he really had his team backing him towards the end of that game. So there we have it. 13 games in a row. The teams won the toss, fielded first, and won the match. And in game 14, it's Quetta, the team that lost their first 4 games, that turned that all around. I think everybody's pleased with that result, and pleased that the PSL's opened up a little bit. And we've got big games coming up tomorrow as well. And, it would be remiss of me not to get your guys' predictions on tomorrow's games as well. By the way, I know there's some international action happening tomorrow. We're not we're not interested in that. Okay, we're only interested in Pakistan Super League. By the way, I think we should just very quickly mention this vaccination thing. So the PCB announced today that the PSL is going to make vaccinations available to all the players and match officials and stakeholders in the PSL that want them. This is good news, Anam?
I think it is. मतलब एक sense of security भी दे रहे हो अब कि यार देखो पिछले दिनों में ये कोरोना के 3-4 cases निकले हैं. आज Tom Banton even tweeted about his corona case. So I think this is good. आप दिखा रहे हो कि जी we are totally concerned about the entire bubble and we want to make a secure deal out of it. So I think it's a good move. Then again, it depends on the players and the officials and the broadcasters. किनको लेना है, किनको नहीं लेना. But I'm sure they'll make the right move, the players and the broadcasters involved.
Absolutely. I think we can all sort of concur with that. Armaan, why don't you kick us off, mate? Predictions for tomorrow. Big game, only one game tomorrow. Islamabad United against Lahore Qalandars. Both teams on winning runs. Whose run is going to come to a screeching halt tomorrow?
Winning run. Islamabad. I don't know why this keeps happening. Islamabad just won the last game. They lost the game before. ये कौन से run आप लोग बना रहे Islamabad के लिए?
They won a game. They won the last game.
एक match Quetta are on a winning run. You know what? Quetta.
They won the game.
मेरी बात सुनो. Islamabad is not on a winning run, and they can't be. They've got the misbah factor. कितनी दफा बताऊं? Right? It's not going to happen. Lahore Qalandars is going to bang it tomorrow.
Islamabad have the misbah factor. You mean the coach and captain that won them 2 PSLs?
Oh, here we go. Listen, this show is not long enough.
Listen, Islamabad United currently third in the table, and that's having played one fewer game than Peshawar and Karachi. Karachi, by the way, who are at the top at the moment. But Islamabad and Lahore both in the middle. Whoever wins that game tomorrow between Islamabad and Lahore will go to the top of the PSL. So they're in very good positions. Armaan is backing Lahore. Abdullah, our special guest today, who are you backing, Lahore or Islamabad?
Well, I'm going to agree with him with something. I disagreed with him a lot about the Safra stuff, but Islamabad, right? There's something about them that the team at least look forward to watching. And I think it has got something to do with the first PSL when Misbah was there.
Thank you very much.
Wait, what about it?
It was diet cricket. It wasn't exciting. There was nothing exciting about the team. And you know what? There are players in Islamabad that excite me. You know, there's Hale, there's Sterling now. What a beast, right? But there's something about them that don't excite me. I look forward to Lahore's games. They're unpredictable. Lahore is the team most like Pakistan.
Exactly.
They are unpredictable. They should be blowing teams away, and they had terrible PSLs before, but they're a really good team and they're really exciting to watch. And then Islamabad, just even when they have good games, it's something I don't know what it is about them. I don't know what it is. And geographically, they're a team that I should be supporting because they're closest to Jhelum, where I'm from in Pakistan. But no, I'm with Lahore tomorrow, and I hope they put on a show.
Well, I'm from Lahore, so I've always supported Lahore from the days when they lost every single game they played. But I mean, no love for Shadab or Hassan Ali or.
I've gone off Shadab a bit. I've gone off him a bit. I don't know what it is. I'm gone
off Shadab. He bowled a gorgeous leg break in the last match.
I know, no, not about quality. Just something. I don't think he should be captain number one of Islamabad. I think he's young and he's inexperienced, and I find it a bit embarrassing when he's advising players that have done it at such a high level for years, and I find it embarrassing that they must be thinking some of these international players should just look at him and say, "Who are you?" Do you know what I mean? There's a bit of that to it. And same with the Fraz.
We see that ballsiness in the PSL a lot. There was a moment in today's game where Mohammad Hussain went up to Dale Steyn and said to him, Dale, this is where you want to bowl, mate. Like, this is the area where you want to. I know you've taken wickets all over. I am Mohammad Hussain. Listen to me. Look at my hair dye. This is where you're gonna bowl the ball. Okay, this is the area. Like, I kind of like that aggressive ballsiness. India do it as well in the IPL. They put the Indian players in prominent positions. Owen Morgan didn't captain his franchise. He was a World Cup winning captain. He wasn't captain of his franchise.
It's weird, I find that weird. I find it weird that Babra's not captain in Karachi Kings. I find that weird. It's not right. It doesn't sit right with me. It's like when I play amateur cricket, right? Do you know sometimes they give this under 13 player an opening spot and he's got 12 of 107 balls and you come in at number 7 and he goes, right, this is what you need to do. Shut up. Shut up. that kind of thing annoys me. I find it frustrating.
मुझे एक चीज कहनी है इस बारे में. Imad Wasim won the PSL last year with Karachi. Let's just put some respect on Imad Wasim's name as well. I know that Babar is phenomenal, but I think that's the beauty as well, because sometimes these international players have other commitments, injury prone, whatever. So you need stability as well, and also there is a trading system where the big players can move from one team to another. So if you're going to build a franchise, you need to have a player that is unlikely to be traded that quickly, so you can build around them. So there are several other factors.
Absolutely. Exactly, Armaan. And, you're right. We should absolutely respect captains who win the PSL, particularly those who do it twice, like Misbah ul Haq did with Islamabad. Anyway, Anam Nadeem, tell me this. Anam, we've got 2 votes for Lahore. I feel almost embarrassed to vote for my city, Lahore, where both of my parents were born, but a lot of support for Lahore today. Tell me you've got something contrary to say. Come on, Anam.
No, I'm going to support Lahore as well tomorrow. Go Lahore! Jigar Phepde, Kalandar. Yeah, Jigar Phepde sab Kalandar ke saath. And also, ये हसनैन और स्टेन वाली बात पे, I think वो बहुत अच्छा moment था. It was a fun moment where हसनैन, I think वो besties हैं, Even Hassan Ali tweeted yesterday कि Dale Steyn के साथ खड़ा हूँ, सीख रहा हूँ. That's the tweet. तो I think ये एक अच्छी चीज भी है कि उनके उस तरह की bonding हो रही है Dale Steyn के साथ. तो वो उसको मजाक में कह रहे कि यहाँ पे कराओ, यहाँ पे मारो. So I think it's good. It's good for the game.
Chalo, yeah, I mean, we were just having fun, but absolutely, it's quite fun. And just before we finish, actually, Armaan, I know you enjoyed Shahnawaz Dani's celebrations. Maybe to talk us through that.
यार देखो, फिर तुम कहोगे मैं मिसबाह की बात कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन एक चीज मुझे कहनी है, just as a general thing, और हमारे जो सब viewers हैं and everyone watching this has been following Pakistan, New Zealand, everything. There is a big change in the body language that I see from our players when they are playing in this PSL versus how they play for the national team, whether it's in Test, whether it's ODIs or T20. I mean, you can see it with the young players in terms of like, this Hussain Talad, Iftikhar Khan, call him young, but obviously he's not as experienced. A lot of these guys, like Haider Ali, they couldn't perform in the last series. And I feel that when I see a young bowler coming and he takes a wicket, in fact, if you heard his post-match interview, they told him to celebrate. Like, this is interesting, right? They're encouraging. They're saying, you know what? Tum celebrate karo, hamare saath karo. Because tumhara, you should celebrate your wickets. You should express yourselves. And this is going to release energy. And I think that really helps, especially in today's age, where, things can be, social media is there. People feel a little bit restricted. So, and with Pakistan, like all of our heroes, the times that we've watched Pakistan play, I know you hate the mercurial thing, but there is a factor of Pakistan's unpredictability that make them almost every other country's second team, including India, right? So the point I'm trying to make is, when I see a young bowler like Dhani coming in, so young, getting wicket, आज भी उस बंदे ने 3 ली, और वो नाच रहा है और dance कर रहा है, मुझे लगा this brother can express himself. And right now with our coaching setup for Pakistan, something they need to address, right? They just need to let our players go and express themselves. Hassan Ali, look at his comeback right now. He was somebody that used to express himself. He got reined in a little bit. Now he's coming back. Now we're seeing Shahnawaz Dani. We're seeing these young players perform. So I'm all for it. It's a great showcase. I love seeing it. Pakistan Zindabad.
Good. I think that's a pretty good note to call time on. But before we go, Abdullah, you're our special guest today. Give us a parting thought.
Because I don't know when I'll be on again, I want to ask you a question. And this is a genuine question, not just for the podcast, right? If for the T20 World Cup coming, who would be your top 4 batsmen? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Who would they be?
Oh, this is a very long and kind of conversation.
Just give it me.
Armaan, you go first, then Anam, then me. But we're going to do this in 20 seconds, guys. Go.
Sharjeel will open with Rizwan. 3 pe I will put Babar, and 4 pe I will put Hafiz.
Exactly the same for me.
Anam?
Yeah, I think I'm going to back Armaan on this.
Okay, good. I will do the same, except I would switch Fakhr for Sharjeel. I'd go with Fakhr instead of Sharjeel.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd go with the other.
All 4 of them. Anyway, okay.
All 4. Well, my thinking on Sharjeel is like he's performing very well, but I remember him playing outside of Pakistan and things not going as well. But anyway, that's a very long conversation. I can't believe you asked that as we're trying to close up.
Sorry.
Listen, we'll get you back again. It's been lovely to have you on. Thank you so much, and we'll definitely look forward to having you back again. Anam, Armaan, thank you as always. We'll be back, everybody, tomorrow with more post-match live chat. Post-match chat.
Bol Kalandar.
I forgot the name of his own.